When I say platform building, it's the same thing. You're building your authority by giving a lot of authentic value to people who want to listen. And because you're giving so much value, they're now thinking, if the free stuff is so good, what if I pay Carl?
Yun.
What if I pay Sean?
Yun.
Then my life would be magical. Oh,
Yeah.
diba? So that's what I mean by platform building. Number three, we touched based on it earlier, social media marketing.
Okay.
Now, why is it a good way to generate leads? Again, if your business is a restaurant, SEO will not work that well for you. And what will work well is social media marketing. And we've had clients selling novel items. When I say novel, medyo bago, yung hindi pa ganun kakilala ng tao. Because people won't search for stuff they're not familiar with. There's no keywords for the latest new item on the market.
Yeah.
And what you do is introduce it in social media. The thing is, you have to create a lot of content, videos, posts, content calendar, and then you have to schedule them and you have to have budgets to run them because you pay every time someone clicks or every time someone fills up a lead form or every time you get 1,000 views on your ad.
Tayo, minsan tayo, our culture is tipid-tipid, di ba? Na parang, hindi, I'm gonna learn it and I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna learn that, I'm gonna do it myself. But I think the more advanced taipans, instead of saying, I'm gonna learn, I say, I'm gonna hire somebody to do that. Diba? So guys, if you have a business right now and you think na yung product nyo talaga is really something that can be scaled up, I really encourage you to outsource your expansion. Sean, of course, lahat naman ng businessman, let's face it. Their question is, can I afford? I want to work with you. Can I afford? And that price point makes a big difference. So, do you mind sharing what's the range?
Well, here's how I look at it. Number one, you have to have a working budget. If you don't have an idea how much that budget is, I can tell you. But how you should look at it is not as an expense, because SEO is an investment, just like property. SEO takes time. That's the main contrast between social media marketing, which is instant. The moment you post, the moment you boost, okay ka na eh. Nakikita na ng mga tao eh. Nakakuha ka na ng leads, may nag-chat na sa'yo. But SEO takes time. But the good thing is, once you're ranking, you're ranking. That's it for years and years to come. Number 4 tip, I thought about this quite hard. It's evergreen content. When I say evergreen content, it's supposedly content that's going to stand the test of time. So this piece of content that I'm creating with you tonight, Carl, is actually evergreen content. Because 10, 20 years from now, it's going to be the same. I think that's going to be something that they're going to be doing at least a decade from now. And if that's the truth, then this stuff that we're discussing tonight is going to be applicable at least for a decade. That's what I mean by evergreen content.
So, Sean, evergreen content application. I'm an online store selling whatever. What is the application of evergreen content?
So evergreen content, for example, if you're selling like titanium mugs, which I have here, it's a camping titanium mug, kaya ganyan yung handle niya. I'm not promoting this brand, so I'm not even gonna name it. But let's just say you're selling this. An evergreen content for this is a piece of content that would say why, like 101 reasons why you should buy titanium mugs instead of ceramic. And then list down all of the advantages there, because people who are in the consideration stage, So there's 5 stages, right? There's discovery, where they don't know you, they just discovered you because of your ad or because of someone talking about you. There's interest, they're interested already, you got their ears, they want to know more. Then consideration. Consideration stage is pumipili na sila. Which brand am I gonna buy? What kind of price range can my budget accommodate? And then there's conversion when they become a customer, and then there's retention for loyalty. So consideration stage is important. When you write an article, 101 reasons why you should buy a titanium mug over ceramic mug, that's targeting people in the consideration stage, which is a critical stage because right next is conversion. And that is an evergreen content because that's not going to change. I mean,
Yeah.
titanium is going to be titanium for decades and centuries to come. Ceramic is going to be ceramic for centuries to come. And if you're able to rank for that and it's a shareable piece of content, then you have an evergreen content working for you.
Last one tip for SEO.
This ties up pretty much all of the things we discussed is platform building. Now, what
Wow.
is platform building? Platform building is just like what we're doing now. This is actually your platform, Carl, where you have content, people listen to you, and as you mentioned, it gets turned into an article, it gets turned into a podcast, maybe even a video recording, and of course, it's gonna be on Facebook. One recording, multiple platforms, video, audio, written word. I also do that with my Leadership Stack podcast. Exactly the same thing. One recording, video, audio, written word. And it's a platform because you build a community, a following around it, because you actually produce a lot of value for your listeners, for your audience.
Sean, a little bit more expansion. Platform building, parang medyo vague. What is an actual
Yeah.
step to that?
Of course. So doing this podcast with you, Carl, honestly, we could do it for zero cost. It's just you, what you know, helping others, paying it forward. I mean, you're doing this because you love people and you want to give value to them. You're not getting paid for this. I'm not
Nope.
getting paid for the Leadership Stack podcast. But it becomes a platform for us and it really doesn't cost us anything. Sure, you can invest in a nice camera and a nice microphone that's going to cost you one-time cost. Otherwise, it's going to be your time, it's going to be your expertise, and people will just be drawn to you because you're going to be authentically trying to help them with the value you're giving. And you use different stations, different platforms to spread your content around. When I say platform building, it's the same thing. You're building your authority by giving a lot of authentic value to people who want to listen. And because you're giving so much value, they're now thinking, if the free stuff is so good, what if I pay Carl?
Yun.
What if I pay Sean?
Yun.
Then my life would be magical. Oh, diba? So that's what I mean by platform building. And in summary, for what we discussed, it's all interconnected. When you build your platform, you can start with your website. When you have your website, make sure it's mobile responsive. Make it rank in Google. When you're ranking well in Google and you promote on social media, sometimes when you do social media ads, hindi naman agad bibili yung tao sa'yo eh. They're gonna have to see your ads multiple times, and then some of them they'll forget about you. And then once they need your product or your service, they're gonna search in Google something generic. Titanium mug Philippines. Something like
Pare,
that.
baka
They're not
bukas,
gonna search for
bukas
the
na
brand.
yung benta ng titanium mug, kaka-promote mo.
Yeah, but people are not gonna search for the brand if they just saw your ad. Usually they'll forget about your brand, but they'll remember, what was that? I saw that ad. It's a nice titanium mug, and they'll search for the generic term in Google, titanium mug Philippines. So it's all interconnected. It's an ecosystem actually working for you, generating that inbound perpetual pre-qualified leads for your business. And then within the process, you create evergreen content, which will, if you work on your SEO, that piece of evergreen content is going to be searchable as well. And when people find it, because they're in the consideration stage, them buying from you, becoming your customers, very, very high. And all of that is your platform. So it's an ecosystem that works beautifully together. And I actually have this, and we practice this, and we build this for our clients as well.